So the OnePlus 11R is the most value for money OnePlus flagship since the OnePlus 7. And when you hold the phone right next to the OnePlus 11, I can't really tell the difference between the two. In fact, after using the OnePlus 11R, I feel like most people will actually pick this one over the OnePlus 11. Alright, if you don't know me yet, I'm Ershad, you're watching Trakin Tech English, and let's talk a little bit more about the OnePlus 11R. Possibly one of the most interesting OnePlus phones in a long time. Now, like I mentioned, the design of these two phones are barely any different. You get a black color variant on both these phones and a very similar shimmery pattern. And on the rear, both of these have Corning Gorilla Glass 5 and the signature circular camera cutout as well. The only difference is this camera cutout has a Hasselblad branding, this one doesn't. Now the rest of the ports and buttons are very similar. You get a Type-C 2.0 port at the bottom, you get a SIM card tray which is a dual nano SIM card tray, and you get a speaker grill at the bottom which works with the speaker on the top to work in stereo setup with Dolby Atmos support, no less. Also, you've got the power button, the volume rocker, and the alert slider on both the phones. No compromises here. And you know what? Interestingly, the OnePlus 11R comes with an infrared blaster. The OnePlus 11 doesn't have that. And when you talk about in-hand feel, you cannot tell the difference between the two. Both are pretty slippery because you've got that shimmery back, and both are curved on the rear and curved on the front as well. The only difference is that the side railings are made of plastic on the OnePlus 11R, whereas they're made of metal on the OnePlus 11. So what's really better on the OnePlus 11, you ask? Well, one thing could be that, this one comes with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus protection on the front display, whereas this one comes with Dragon Trail glass. It's still pretty debatable whether Corning is better than Dragon Trail, but when we hear Corning's name, we feel far more secure, don't we? And for the price difference between the OnePlus 11 and the 11R, the 11 doesn't even have IP rating or wireless charging, which is again not there on the 11R, which makes a lot of sense, right? Display tech is definitely slightly better on the OnePlus 11, but not that regular users will notice the difference when they actually see the displays side by side. You get a slightly larger 6.74-inch display on the OnePlus 11R as opposed to 6.7 on the OnePlus 11. But the resolution is not 2K on this one. It's a 1.5K resolution display along with HDR10 support and a peak brightness of 1450 nits in HDR playback. But regular typical brightness is definitely brighter on the OnePlus 11. Also, you get support for LTPO, which means that it can actually refresh from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. This one can do 40 Hz to 120 Hz. It switches between 40, 60, 90 and 120. And the other important thing is that there is no Dolby Vision support on the OnePlus 11R, whereas you get Dolby Vision support on the OnePlus 11. When you compare the displays side by side though, slightly better HDR performance on the OnePlus 11 compared to the OnePlus 11R. That's the only thing that I noticed. But for curved display enthusiasts, both are curved. Also, for center punch hole enthusiasts, the OnePlus 11R has a center punch hole. This one, the OnePlus 11, has a side one. Which one do you actually prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. Now let's talk about the internals. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 on the OnePlus 11, 8 Plus Gen 1 on the OnePlus 11R, which makes the OnePlus 11R the most affordable Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 phone out there. And the rest of the specs includes an LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 3.1 storage, and you get two variants, 8/128 and 16/256 GB. Now, while you do get UFS 4.0 storage on the OnePlus 11, it is only available on the higher end variant. The 8/128 GB variant has the same UFS 3.1 storage. And mind you, UFS 4.0 is extremely fast compared to UFS 3.1. The score differences are there for you to see. Now, what about performance on the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1? We've tested so many 8 Plus Gen 1 phones, including this one. You get an Antutu score of over 1 million. Geekbench scores are fantastic too. And you can play Call of Duty Mobile, which is one of the most graphically intensive games out there, at 90 FPS without breaking a sweat. And this one doesn't heat up either. You get all of the game tools that are already available on the OnePlus 11 on the OnePlus 11R as well. The performance difference is barely going to be noticeable until you look at power efficiency, which will be slightly better on the OnePlus 11. Also, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 enables ray tracing. Unfortunately, there are no ray tracing games for us to test out at the moment. So then again, equally matched at the moment at least. And for many OnePlus users who actually don't buy the phone for gaming and they just want it for regular, fast, smooth experience, it's the same on both. You cannot tell the difference at all. Talking about 5G, you get support for 11 5G bands on the OnePlus 11R, which is very good. And you also get dual 5G support, which is also available on the OnePlus 11. And you also get support for Wi-Fi 6, which is Wi-Fi 7 on the OnePlus 11, but that's coming a little later. Now, software experience, nearly identical on both. OxygenOS 13, Android 13, OxygenOS 13's all features are there, and literally no bloatware whatsoever. One of the cleanest installations, very fast, very smooth, really good software experience if you ask me. But there's one distinctive advantage on the OnePlus 11, and that is you get 4 years of assured operating system updates and 5 years of security updates. This is 3+4, not 4+5. Now, talking about things that are again very similar is you get 5000 mAh battery inside both these phones and 100-watt fast charging as well, which means 0 to 100 in 25 minutes. But 8 Gen 2 is meant to be more power efficient, so I got about 7 hours of screen on time on the OnePlus 11. I don't know if the 11R will give me 7 hours of screen on time, but that's something that I'll test for my full comparison video, so stay tuned. Now here's the interesting thing about the cameras, right? No Hasselblad branding, yes, but the same sensor, Sony IMX890. That is the primary sensor on both the phones. But the ultrawide and the telephoto, which is basically 48 plus 32 on the OnePlus 11, has been replaced with an 8MP ultrawide and a 2MP macro camera. Now I did take a few initial samples comparing the two, and details wise with the IMX890 you can't tell the difference. You know what I'm really happy about? OnePlus is trying to maintain the consistency in performance, camera performance between the R line and the more expensive line, which is very similar to the approach that Google, Samsung and Apple also have when it comes to camera tuning. Anyway, what I noticed is that skin tones are off on the OnePlus 11R. They're actually off on the OnePlus 11 as well because they're too warm if you ask me. But then again, details wise, no difference. Portrait shots, no difference. HDR against the light shots, very little difference between the two. You can't really pick one against the other out. In fact, in selfies, I actually preferred the selfies that I took from the OnePlus 11R using the 16MP camera compared to the OnePlus 11. And you can shoot 4K 60fps videos using the OnePlus 11R, and you can shoot 8K videos, which I never do. So 4K 60fps, when you match the footage on both these, I actually felt that the 4K 60fps recording on the OnePlus 11R was slightly better. Take a look for yourself and let me know what you think. Ultra wide angle shots are definitely far more detailed on the OnePlus 11 compared to the OnePlus 11R because 48MP versus 8MP, that was going to be the case anyway. Now the difference is that you get an extra 2x telephoto camera, and it's a good telephoto camera with which you can also shoot portrait shots in that Hasselblad portrait mode, right? When I compare the 2x shot from this and I compare the 2x, digitally cropped shot from the OnePlus 11R, you really cannot tell the difference because there is not too much zoomed in anyway. So, a digital crop also looks equally good, especially if you don't pixel peep. But yes, using the 2x camera, you can go close to the subject's face and get the right size of the face, which is definitely helpful. So yeah, the 11R's camera is pretty competent at this price. I would say that. What other phones would you like me to compare it with? Let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, coming to the price. The base variant is priced at 40,000 rupees for the 11R. The 11 is priced at 57,000 rupees. According to me, the math adds up. I'm doing the math right now. The OnePlus 11 is basically more expensive because it has to deal with partnerships. Hasselblad cameras, Corning for Gorilla Glass, and Dolby for Dolby Vision. So prices go up, you see. And of course, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is not going to come cheap because that is the latest processor. So with that equation in place for you guys, it is plain and simple. The 11R is far better value than the 11. And I'm probably going to be recommending the 11R to more people who don't care too much about the telephoto or, the brand partnerships that OnePlus 11 has going for itself. So what do you guys think? Do you like the 11R? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comment section below. For more such awesome videos, subscribe to Trakin Tech English. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep tracking and stay safe.